All right, back with the Illuvium Rundown, episode 8. This is an exciting one. We have a lot going on. We've been saying this for the past couple episodes. We do have a lot to talk about. We have Annie Knows coming on. Very smart dude. Just got onto the council. I'm excited about this one. How about you?
Yeah, super excited. Christmas came early for us. The Overworld is here.
Yeah.
I think we're both extremely excited about it. We've both played a little bit. Let's jump in. Let's see, what have you done so far with the Overworld?
Yeah, the Overworld has been great. Like, I hopped in. I honestly haven't been able to play too much, but I've been doing a lot of streaming or watching some streams on the Discord. Mm-hmm. I hop in there. There's, 3 to, I think I've seen up to maybe 8 people playing, streaming in the Discord at almost any point. And getting to see everybody's perspective on this and how they're approaching the game and some of those more rare catches that are happening, it's real exciting. I'm definitely going to take some time over this, this Christmas break that's coming up to play as much as I can. But what do you think about it so far?
Absolutely. Dude, I'm just super excited. Like, the team nailed this, like, as well as you can. To think, like, it's been 2 years in the making, and they've been able to pull this off in this fashion. Yeah. And you look at every other blockchain game, and I know they usually compare themselves more to traditional gaming, but, like, from the blockchain side of things, no one else is even close to Illuvium. And it really shows once you get your hands on the game and start playing. I put in about 2 hours, and I've been streaming it. I've been recording all my catches and everything. I'm doing a Gotta Catch 'Em All challenge on ramfire.io. So keeping it interesting and just like trying to track all my progress and really get the community members who don't have access. I want them to be able to live vicariously through my gameplay. So that's been my plan so far. Yeah. And dude, the game has been awesome. Like, I had one crash. That's it so far. So those are gonna happen. It's a beta. But other than that, it's been super smooth. Once I figured out you could play with a controller, it was a game changer for me personally, because I am not the keyboard and mouse guy. I've never been.
Same here.
So that, it took me probably a half hour to figure that out. Once I did, it was like a completely new game. So I'm flying all over the place. I'm catching alluvials. I got like 7 alluvials now.
No, I did the same thing. I've never been the keyboard player.
Yeah.
The only controller I had was a Nintendo Switch controller, which I couldn't figure out. So I had to borrow a PlayStation controller from one of my buddies. Okay. So I did get that set up just yesterday, and I was able to play a little bit with it. But with that being said, if anyone's struggling trying to get their controller hooked up, and you think it would be beneficial for me to make a little tutorial on that, we can put something together. We could probably get an article out on ramfire.io, and then I can get a video out of just how to set up these different controllers. Because if you're not a keyboard and mouse person like us, the controller really is a game changer. So I actually had a couple messages with Aaron on Discord. He said that right now the controller is not a built-in function, but that will be the case in the future. So right now you kind of have to just map it to your keyboard for the controller to actually work.
Yeah, and you have certain things where you do have to use your mouse to click around, which is to be expected. But, like, I didn't think we were going to have controller access really at all. I thought maybe you could run around with the controller, but you couldn't do anything else. Mm-hmm. You could do a lot of different functions. Like, you can use the jetpack, you can use the mag boots, all that kind of stuff. So to navigate around the levels, controller's completely fine. So I was pumped about that. Obviously, Crimson Waste looks awesome. And Sanctum Mesa looks awesome. It's cool to have the leaderboard. All these things that we've seen kind of in leaks and things like that, to actually be able to go and view them. I'm still trying to figure out the leaderboard. So I'm an idiot, and I was like, I didn't realize tier 0, obviously, you're not going to be on the leaderboard. So after my first run, I'm like, why do I have 0 points? But then I went into tier 1. People are putting up like 60,000 points. I had like maybe 4,000. So I was in like 200th or something. So I'm working through the kinks, but it's just exciting time.
Yeah, and one of the best things about this is that we've been talking for a while about why Illuvium is the best game ever. It's because if you took away all the blockchain technology and just made it a Web 2 game, people would still want to play it. And that's what we've seen over the past few days.
Yep.
People are grinding this game all day. I don't even know how they have that much time to play.
Dude, yeah.
But they know it's for fun right now. They're having fun catching it. Nothing you catch right now is an NFT. That won't go live until the open beta. But people are still having fun playing this game, and I've had fun playing this game, even in my limited time.
Yeah, I think Vulcan's put in, like, I don't know, 20 hours in, like, 2 days. He has quite the squad already.
Yeah. But, so just leading into this next segment, just what is the Overworld bringing to the community in, like, just the sentiment of where things are going? Like, things are rolling out. We'll be talking a little bit later about the Illuvium Zero launch. Are you feeling hype in the community? What is everybody saying and thinking right now?
Yeah, it's interesting you use that word, because the one word that came to mind for me was hype. I think right now people are just so excited. If you go in Discord, people are posting what alluvials they've caught. I just saw someone caught a flare a little while ago. Like, to see that, they just take a screenshot and post it just because they want to brag a little bit. They just caught an alluvial. And then you also see, like, outside communities and how much support we've had with other communities that have, given out beta spots or whatever. Yep. Like, Illuvium's partnering with all these different areas of Web3 and really bringing the game to other people that haven't seen it before. So now you have this, like, new influx of people who are like, whoa, what's this Illuvium thing? There's actually a game out, when they've maybe been looking at another game that they've been waiting for 2 years and it's still 3 years away.
Yeah.
Right? So for them to see something like concrete come out in the Web3 space, this is the first time that's happened, and it's huge. It's huge for the industry.
Yeah, it's great for just all of us crypto people, basically. Because I spend a lot of time in the Illuvium community and doing, like, research and whatever I can for Illuvium, but I also, focus on, the broader crypto market in, like, the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and what the economies are doing. And when I'm in that space, it's still, like, there's no excitement. It's just bad news all the time. I go over to the Illuvium space, and I'm just like, everybody's excited right now. This is what everybody felt like in the bull market, and now it's just Illuvium. So I really believe that, not just Illuvium, but Web3 gaming is gonna separate from the regular crypto market.
Yeah.
If this game launched today in open beta, we would get a ton of people coming in, spending money, having a good time, even with, Bitcoin and Ethereum down.
Yeah, I mean, Web3 gaming is what it does is it brings NFTs and gives them a legitimate use case more than just a profile picture. And that's what we're seeing with Illuvium. I mean, we have a little bit of a pep in our step today. We're excited about what's going on here, and that's like that reflects, and that's the whole community right now. Everything's a buzz right now. Like, the team really did it. Like, they actually did pull this off to this extent, and it's only going to get better from here.
Yeah.
And this is only one region, which is crazy. Like, there's 6 other regions.
Yeah.
And like Sanctum or like Crimson Waste is huge already, and it's like to think how many hours you're going to spend in Crimson Waste times that by 7. It's just endless gameplay. It's going to be so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because it shows your what percentage of the map you've explored.
Yeah.
And after I played for like my 2 hours last night, like it said like 5%. I'm like, oh man, this is really gonna take a long time once we have all 7 regions out. But it's not just the overworld. That's just part of the excitement. Other things are coming. Illuvatars are coming soon. Illuvium Zero is coming soon. We're just hearing more and more about this. I heard rumor that Kieran might be starting to go on another one of those runs where he's taking a lot of AMAs.
Yep.
So stay tuned for that, especially with all of this stuff coming out. Like, I'm pretty sure that's going to be happening. And then, whenever he goes on his YouTube, AMA, whatever you call them.
Yeah,
his runs, like,
I always say he crisscrosses the internet. The internet. He goes on all the shows he can, and he just answers any question he can. And that's the beauty of Illuvium. They're so transparent because they can be. They have nothing to hide. Like, they didn't go into this and sell all the alluvials beforehand and leave the community out to dry for 2 years. When you catch your alluvial, that's the NFT, and that's the beauty of it.
Yep.
And obviously, there's the ILV token you can get in if you believe in the project that way, and you have the Illuvium land. But like, to have your main NFTs be caught in game, that's how it should be, and that's not how it has been up to this point. But Kieran's going to be beating the drum of Illuvium all over the internet once again. Yeah, so the next thing we want to talk about is not our Christmas event, but the Illuvium Christmas event that's been going on with the Quest. We are now on day 15, so only 10 more days after this. I was about to say halfway through, but that wouldn't make sense. We're not doing 30 days of Christmas. So So that's been going on. It's been great to see all these different partners get involved and all these different prizes. Nick, do you want to tell us a little bit more about what's been going on there?
Yeah, the last episode we filmed 2 weeks ago, I remember this event was just announced, so we didn't really know what was going on. We got a much better idea now. I've been trying my best to keep up with it. I'm refreshing every day. Every day you got about 4 or 5 different things you can do. It's usually following a YouTube page or joining a Discord or retweeting something. Sometimes I actually think there was just one for Illuvium where you can make a Christmas Illuvium like concept art or whatever. Like there are going to be prizes to be won at the end. I mean, who knows? In the rankings, I think there's over 7,000 people who have joined in on this now. I think I'm ranked around 1,000. I don't know what that's going to come out for prizes. But if you're not in this yet, then it's not too late to join. There's still plenty of things that you can get and plenty of opportunities to win prizes. I'll put a link in the description below if you haven't joined and you want to get in on that. But yeah, this is one of those, just like you were saying, like how Illuvium's making, partnerships and connections with every, different games. Every day in this Advent calendar, it's focusing on a different project that they're partnered with. So it's really cool, not only for the Illuvium community to see these other projects, but for these other projects to see Illuvium and really, see who the alpha project really is.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's spreading the word of Illuvium. I also saw, I think Roger tweeted those like holiday cards, like the Christmas cards. Yep. Did you see that? So yep. He put out these Christmas cards. One was like the Nutcracker Grotto from last year, but there were some other cool ones. There was like an Atlas like laying under the Christmas tree, that kind of thing. And I think Rich commented like, "Look out, Hallmark, we're coming for you." And then someone like made a joke like, "Oh, here's a Rev Dis opportunity." So
I know, but he said he's giving out for free, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He said he was gonna put the like the PDFs or whatever out. I don't know if he's done that yet. But so anyone can print it out.
Right, anyone can print it out. But it was just a funny joke. Like, imagine we take down Hallmark with our Illuvium artwork in terms of Christmas cards. I thought that was funny. So that's a cool thing to see on Twitter. But yeah, a lot of good stuff going on. It's the Christmas season. I think actually one of those holiday cards did have the Adorius line with Christmas lights, which I've been waiting for. They did do that, so I'm pretty excited about that too.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we're wearing the Christmas hats today. We got Christmas coming up. Before our next episode, Christmas will be here. So maybe we can all talk about the Illuvium Christmas gifts we wish we could have given out this year. But I'm sure they'll be here next year.
Yeah, we'll get some stuff.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to get into a call with Annie Nose.
Yeah, let's bring him on.
All right. Annie, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. I'm doing really well. It's good to join you all today. It has been a wild last month for me personally, for Illuvium and the community. And so definitely no place I'd rather be than right here today with you all. I appreciate the invitation.
Yeah, it's great having you on. We've been talking for a couple weeks now, a couple episodes. We're just like, when we get into December, we know there's going to be a lot to talk about. So when we had you lined up, we were like, all right, this is going to be a good one. First of all, I just want to say congratulations on getting a council spot.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Really appreciate it. One of those sort of surreal moments where I've been working for a long time for the project, in terms of my support for Web3 gaming, and really appreciate all of the encouragement. I mean, even people that didn't vote for me that were very complimentary and gave me good feedback. And since the election, I've been really pleased at overall engagement with the community.
Great to have you on. I do see the ETH lizard in the background there. It's a little blurry, but that's cool to see. And then I'm sure you're going to get some of the Illuvium art when it comes out. So cool, kind of building your background there. So that's cool. We need to replace this thing right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think Pokemon's good from a legacy standpoint, but we definitely need to have some Illuvials crawling in around the corners, making their way into the background for you guys too.
Yeah, definitely. So we just have some questions for you. It's always good to bring other people in the community on and talk a little bit about Illuvium. So I'll kick things off here. I'm just wondering, so like obviously the Overworld just dropped. So I got to know, how much of the Overworld have you played? How many hours have you put in? And then what's your strategy in the Overworld? What are you trying to do?
Yeah, so super exciting. This is one of those moments. Anytime I get a new game that I'm really excited about, you always feel like that 5-year-old kid who just can't wait to rip open the box and get to it. what I shared with someone earlier is I have played both too much and not enough. So I feel very far behind compared to some of the community members that have I know put in probably literally days now. We're only 3 days or so since it dropped, but I'm sure we've got multiple people over 40 plus hours at this point. Um, I have played at the current time of this recording, let's say about 7 or 8 hours. So enough to have built up a decent little team. I, from a strategy standpoint, really focused on getting a lot of shards. At first, I knew that was going to be a bottleneck, and so I didn't focus quite as much on getting into the encounters and trying to capture alluvials too much. So I have a pretty weak team at the moment, but I have a lot of shards built up with the plan to begin ramping into tier 1, 2, and 3 over the next over this weekend coming up. So I'd like to spend more time. Every hour that I spend is just kind of one less hour of sleep, and so it's just finding that balance with a full-time job and kids and a family.
Dude, I'm jealous because I have probably 3 shards right now, and it seems like every time I go to mine resources, I don't get a shard. But I've only put in like 2 hours, so I got to be patient. I've had a busy week, so I haven't had the time to go in. But soon I'm gonna be in there. I'm gonna go on those 5, 6, 7 hour grinds and really hammer it out.
Yeah. So I know you're very like in tuned with the economics and everything of GameFi. You've definitely shown that. I think that's one of the big reasons why you made it onto the council. So when you're going into this overworld, are you thinking like do you think with that kind of mindset now that you could be on the voting end of some big decisions when it comes to the game economy? Are you thinking like maybe some things should be popping up more, some things are popping up too much? What the cost might be for certain things? Do you think about it that way, or are you just going in there having fun?
Yeah, so I'm wearing multiple hats, not just the one that you can see today when I go out into the overworld. Firstly, and I let myself have just probably a couple hours of just go out here and enjoy the game and just play on that day one, and be a part of actually that first day drop. So I think it's important. We need to celebrate and take those key moments that we work for months and in some cases years to get to. It's easy to kind of lose sight of that in the moment and what comes next. So I gave myself a few hours. My oldest son wanted to come and play with me for a bit, and so we did that just purely for enjoyment. And also from a council member standpoint, I certainly am very in tune to what is this going to mean for me and for the rest of the community as we look to decisions in the future. And at a high level, I would say I could not be more pleased with what we see in the current beta format. Um, the game has very clearly the core gameplay loops linked in. I think anyone that's played can envision a world in which you get to keep your own alluvials and then you get to go and battle other people in the arena in terms of PvP, PvE content. So you can see it all coming together. That vision that we've had for the last couple of years is now being realized. From my chair, I'm thinking about how do we make sure that we attract and retain gamers long term, because that's going to dictate how successful the project is. So, in the current state of the game, with 2 and Illuvium Zero coming, different game modes that are out. What do we need to do to ensure that end game content is sufficient to keep people playing beyond just let me go out and try and capture some more alluvials and build them into my deck? I think we have to have some more mechanics there. From a monetization standpoint, this question of how do we get players in and willing to stay is essential. And so we'll talk about this more within the community. I had pushed, I think, very early on in probably second quarter of this year that using a typical Web3 monetization approach, where we're talking hundreds of dollars for an alluvial, kind of set from the team standpoint, wasn't the right way to go. I view this as really microtransactions, and I mean microtransactions. Should travel for tier 1 be $1 or $2? Obviously you want to balance how much energy you've got, how long you can be out there. I don't think it needs to be $1 for 2 hours worth of travel, but like, what is that balance and that ratio where players are going to be willing to stay and they're not going to feel like this is super extractive of value from them, that it's a good balance for sort of Web 2 gaming folks as well as Web 3. And then really leaning on the fact that that 10 million players in a couple of years that are buying and selling Illuvials with each other handles the monetization approach entirely. So the goal is just to make a really good game that people are willing to play, and I think the economic side is going to take care of itself to a large degree.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. Especially because I've been involved in some other GameFi projects, and there is a big, like, a high cost of entry. Once you get in, you feel like you need to make a return to make some of your money back. But yeah, if you can go into the overworld for $1, $2, or just something cheap, then I feel like I could enjoy the game a little bit more, knowing I'm not throwing the bank at it. But yeah, but it still be the Web3 game that we know, with NFTs and real world value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that mindset has to be one that we're catering to the typical Web2 gamer, right? And the problem is basically no one in the community today is that person. Everyone that's here today is still a Web3, whether they're an investor or a builder or a flipper or trader, whatever their status is. They're not going to balk at dollar values over $100 for something in this space. But that's not true for us to be able to bring tens of millions of gamers to the industry. And so we've got to be really cognizant of that. Your average gamer is going to think in dollars, not ETH. And they're going to be thinking, if this is more than $20 for any kind of normal gameplay loop, like I'm out. Sorry guys, that's not something that I'm able to justify spending for the average one. Now, of course, there are going to be whales, and that's fine. Like Illuvium has the ability to cater for them with the Leviathan arena coming, and with them being able to purchase whatever they want on secondary markets on the Illuvidex from other players. But I think that piece is the one we need to be not so worried about. That will take care of itself. It's the average gamer that we want to bring in, that over time we want them to want that Pokemon icon on their wall 10 years from now. And you get that by having teenagers and even 8 and 9 year old kids right now that are going to be playing Illuvium, that their parents are going to let them spend $1 a month, and that's it. And what is that going to be able to get them? I mean, sure, they can go out and work on tier zeros and do a loop or two, but like that's the player that I want, because when they're 18 and when they're 25, if they have a real strong affinity to Illuvium as a brand, they're still here playing our games. That's when they've got disposable income, and they're going to totally get it, and they're going to be fully bought into our IP.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because I think about that all the time. Like, a lot of people in this space right now are between probably 25 and 40 years old, and we all grew up with Pokemon. And at the time, we had to beg our parents to buy us Pokemon cards in the games, but now we have that disposable money. So it's going to be great seeing a game startup like this with a group of people who have money and know what the potential could be in 15, 20 years.
Yeah, and on top of that, like, it's like Illuvium's targeted more towards adults. Like, Pokemon at the end of the day is more for kids. You kind of grow out of it. They haven't really changed their model over the years, but Illuvium's going to be something that you can start playing as a kid and you'll still enjoy it fully as an adult. I truly believe that, and I think we can see that with how the Overworld's coming along and the other aspects and all the economics that go into it. It's just a much more a higher level of intellect that is needed to really play the whole game.
All right, so this is a question that we've been asking a lot of people coming on lately. Why did you choose Illuvium? I remember talking to you on Discord before you even started putting out some YouTube videos and stuff, and I didn't ask this at the time, but like, obviously you're very smart. You're very, like, educated on how this all works. Why did you choose to go with Illuvium, to focus on Illuvium, versus any other, like, GameFi or Web3 projects?
Yeah. So I'll answer that in two parts. The first is that I'm not only believing in Illuvium here, right? So and I think part of the reason that I was selected on the council is my work in the industry spans, I would say, a couple dozen games, another dozen platforms and infrastructure groups and organizations. And so having that broader knowledge has given me a lot of insight into what's going on within the industry overall. In addition, though, the reason as one of my top plays, and frankly, when I go back and I rank the projects that I'm involved in and working on, I'm going to call an S tier of projects. Illuvium is in that tier, and it is the one that is coming out first. And so, by that standard, this is the first game that I have an uber high level of conviction on. And I say game, it's really the entire development studio. The reason for that is, I think, three core elements. The first is the focus from day one has been on delivering high quality gameplay, and that was transparent. Even, I mean, Jafe, when we talked about this a year ago, when you and I were meeting each other for the first time, you could see it back then in the art leaks, in some of the early gameplay loops and trailers and footage of what was going on. That as long as the team was able to keep on with the development cycle, you were going to have something that would be meaningful in Web 2, even if there were no Web 3 elements attached. And that for me is a really critical concept. When I interview founders and I talk with other teams, if we stripped out all of the Web 3 components, would your product be able to compete on its own? Because frankly, no one cares at all about the Web 3 components if you have a crappy game. And so for me, that's point number one, is that I was confident in the team's ability to deliver on that. Point number two is the integrated economic model that was built with high sustainability in mind, the Rev Dis type of structure with the treasury tokens locked up, the framework of ILV and SILV2. The economics have to work if you're building Web3 into a game in order for it to be sustainable. And so there are plenty of other projects that I think could probably deliver a good game, but they have locked themselves down by setting up poor economic structures, either in terms of tokens that they've launched or sales that they've done. And I think they've kind of boxed themselves in. Illuvium has not done that. And so making sure that they had that vision of sustainable economy was point number two. And then point number three is, I'm going to call it the X factor or the wow factor, if you will, where when you look at a project, there has to be something that stands out that you're willing to pause when you see it. And there's a number of ways that you can achieve that. When I talk to founders and I do my interviews, I always ask them, what's your unique proposition? Why are you different than all of the other MOBAs that are out there, or first-person shooters, or what makes you different than than League of Legends today? All of those questions I try and gather. If you can't articulate for me in just a sentence why you have something that's so unique and interesting that someone would pause and would stay on your Discord, stay on your website, stay watching your trailers or that YouTube content, it's too difficult to get attention in a currently oversaturated market in gaming. And Illuvium, I think, has that wow factor. And there's a couple elements to it. I think some of it goes back to the community. Some of it goes back to the founders. I mean, you look at the kind of the storyline, and I think this has been well crafted and narrated. Kieran talks about this often, and it resonates with people because they get the idea. Oh, you've got three brothers that all have different skill sets that started this studio, and then we've got this massive community now that's building with the idea that we want the players to be involved and we want the investors and the community to be able to weigh in on all the decisions. So basically fully decentralized structure. All of those elements, I think, create that narrative that you need in order for a project to really get the eyeballs that are going to be necessary to penetrate into mainstream.
We're all very bullish on this project and can't wait to see, what happens in the future. We'll have to have you on again sometime soon.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for the invitation. Definitely anytime you guys want, I'm happy to come in and share. We've got a lot of topics in governance structure that are going to be coming up over the next epoch, and look forward to hearing from you guys in the community on all of those. And as you guys have more thoughts, send them my way. Happy to engage anytime in Discord or on YouTube with y'all.
All right, we will stay in touch.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. And I think the biggest thing you said, let's celebrate a little bit, right? It's been 2 years in the making. Illuvium's done a great job, so it's a good time to be around here.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right, so moving on to Illuvium Zero launch. This is coming sooner than we thought. I think we've seen... we actually have an actual date, right? January 6th, I think I saw.
Okay.
Did you not see that yet?
I did not see that.
I did. I saw that. I actually... You know what? Oh, no, I don't have my phone. Because I was going to say I'm going to pull it up.
So I screenshot it. Okay, so you're saying January 6th. I saw a comment from one of the members of the team that they're trying to get it before Christmas. I saw that on Twitter. I can't remember exactly where I saw it. So there's some rumors going around, but you know what that means? That means we're super close. And so at the end of the day, whether it's January 6th or if it's prior to Christmas, and he's looking for it now, you know what's cool? Is it's coming soon. And that's exciting.
I do have this, and I'll pull this up on the
let's
screen.
See.
So it looks like we do have a set date, January 6th. I don't think they would put that date unless they were 100% confident on it. So January 6th, we have the Alpha Season 0 is what they're calling it. In what you're going to be able to do in this is core activities. So you're going to build up your plot, test systems, and kind of experiment with different things. And this is so for the team to iron out some bugs. February 21st, again, another specific date we have here. So we're looking at about 6 to 8 weeks, 7 weeks of this Alpha Season 0. That's when all the data is going to be wiped, and then you're going to start with Alpha Season 2. No, sorry. So Alpha Season 1. Okay, so we went from Alpha Season 0.
Yep.
Then we're going to have Alpha Season 1. This is where you can build out your plots and actually start scanning and finding these blueprints. And then I'll talk about in a sec about when you can mint those blueprints. But we're going to have 15 different possible blueprints that we can find.
Okay.
So I've actually been doing a lot more research into Illuvium Zero. I'm actually going to be putting out a full video at some point, probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks, about all the things I've been finding. But there's a ton that goes into it. But I do know that we'll have 15 blueprints that we can find during this Alpha Season 1. What I'm not 100% sure on is if these are only for the Alpha Season or if they'll carry over to the main launch. Basically, towards the end of Alpha Season 1, which we don't have an end date on, because the end date is going to be open beta launch. Mm-hmm. It's going to be when we get onto the blockchain. There'll be a set period of time. It's not here, but maybe there's a 2-week or a month period time before we get the open beta where we'll be able to mint those blueprints into NFTs. So that'll be pretty cool. And then when we do get that open beta launch, everything is going to get wiped again. Everyone's going to be starting fresh. The only thing you're going to be able to carry over are those blueprints, if you were lucky enough to find them. I think we will be... Everyone should be able to find some blueprints. I don't know how easy it's going to be to find all 15 of them. Yeah, it's pretty exciting here that we actually have dates.
And knowing the Illuvium team, I feel like these 15 blueprints are going to be exclusive to Alpha Season 1. I think they're going to reward. I think they're going to reward the OGs in this way. So I'm pretty confident about that. I don't know it for sure, but I'm pretty confident there. And the fact that Illuvium Zero is coming, the first thing I thought of initially when you said that for January 6th is that it's going to cut into my Overworld playtime now. And I want to play as much Overworld as possible. So now I got to think about my Illuvium Zero strategy, and there's a lot, there's not enough time in the day for all this.
I know, it's crazy. I just keep thinking that when Illuvium Zero comes out, I'm going to be able to hopefully play it on my phone. It is a little unclear. I know they said it should be available for Android. It should be available on the browser. They're holding off on an actual iPhone app right now.
Yeah.
But I think you should be able to play through the browser on your iPhone. We'll have to see on that. But I'm just going to use my time when I'm at my day job. And
hopefully your employer's not watching.
Clicking around. Hey. We'll see. I'll do my real work over here, and I'll just be clicking around, finding some blueprints on Illuvium Zero.
There you go. If you do find a blueprint while you're on a Zoom meeting, just keep control. Don't start going nuts. Right? Everyone's going to be wondering what you're celebrating.
Definitely. All right. So let's move on. So we actually have a little fun section we're going to do here. Now you came up with this, so why don't you get started?
Yeah, so I'll start this off. So which alluvial fits, right? So I am going to give Nick an alluvial, and he's going to tell me how it fits with a Pokemon. So, first Pokemon that comes to mind when I throw a name out there. And then you've got a fun one for me to do.
Yeah, so this is something we came up with. We just want to have a little fun segment. So these 5 alluvials that, Ramsey came up with, he didn't even tell me. He hasn't written down. I haven't looked. What I'm doing is I picked 5 characters just from either movies or different shows. And he's going to have to tell me which Illuvial fits best as their like partner Illuvial.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, we'll see how this goes. What do you have for me?
All right, so we're gonna start off my first Illuvial. So you're gonna have to think of the Pokemon that this most reminds you of. I'm gonna go with Flare.
Flare, okay. I mean, the obvious thing that just comes to my mind is Charmander, but that's too easy. Flare.
Stumped him already.
Yeah, I'm already stumped. I mean, so I know there's probably 1,000 Pokemon out right now, but like I'm really just. I know set 1.
Yes, the original 151.
The original 151. Yeah. I dabbled into set 2 a little bit before I kind of like grew out of it, I guess you'd put it. Isn't the one like Groudon or something like that? He's like a big.
Oh yeah.
He's a big, powerful one. He's not like a stage 1. I think that's probably what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with like maybe a smaller Groudon.
Okay. And I wrote down what I thought. I picked for Flare. I picked Sandshrew.
Okay.
I think Sandshrew and Flare look a lot alike. Yeah. I think they would play well together. So the second one I have for you is Tattapi.
Tattapi, that's an easy one because this used to be one of my favorite Pokemon actually. It's one of those ancient ones. Amistar? No, not Amistar. Is it?
Nick's like he says he's a Pokemon master. You know which, well, there's two. There's Amistar and Ammonite. There's two of them.
Ammonite.
I don't know which one you're thinking of.
The earlier stage one, the smaller one, Ammonite.
Okay.
I think that's the one. Yeah.
All right.
I used to like that one.
Yeah, that's one of the like the fossils.
Yeah, the fossil Pokemon. Yeah. Yep.
So for me, for Tattapi, I was thinking Shelder. I think Shelder there.
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
And then the third one here, let's go with Adorius.
Adorius. I know there is like a reindeer Pokemon in some later generation.
Yeah, you're right about that. There is.
There is, but I don't know the name of that one.
Thinking 4 legs, like a horse type of a deer, that kind of Pokemon. You got anything?
We'll just go. I don't know the name of it, but we'll go with it. There's a reindeer Pokemon.
There is. And it
looks pretty similar.
I can't think of that one either, but the one that I came up with there is Rapidash.
I see that.
Yeah, because it's like, I know Rapidash is fire, Adorius is nature, but they do kind of both give off like Rapidash has the flames, Adorius has like whatever, mystical kind of stuff coming off of the antlers. So,
actually, you know what? There's some legendary Pokemon. What's called like Xerneas or something like that.
Oh, Xerneas. It's like Xerneas.
Yeah, right.
Xerneas. That one's a good one. Yeah.
It actually. Okay, I'm going.
You
with
just saved that one. That one. That's better than Rapidash. That actually is spot on. All right. So the next one I have for you, Goliant.
Goliant. I'm gonna go with.
It's tough on the spot.
I know exactly what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. I like this segment. This is fun.
It is. I know it starts with an R.
Oh.
It's like an RH.
We're
I can see the name.
We're on the same page here.
It's not Rhydon. What's the one that Rhydon evolves into?
No, that's the evolve. Is Rhydon.
Is that the highest?
The first one's Rhyhorn. Rhyhorn and then Rhydon. It is.
Is there a third one in that line?
Rhyhorn. So the original is just Rhyhorn, Rhydon. There could be a third one now that I'm not familiar with. There certainly could be. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
so for a while I did play this game, Pokemon Duel. I don't know how many people are familiar with that, but whichever one I'm thinking of, it was one of my my favorite characters to use in that game. Maybe it is Rhydon. Probably is Rhydon. So we'll go with that.
All right. So we got Rhydon. That's what I picked too. So good job there. And then the last one here is Fernite.
Yeah. So Moltres.
Yeah.
Right. I have to go with Moltres.
I had Fearow specifically, but it's a lot easier for me because I was able to come up with these and then really think about it. We're putting you on the spot, but Moltres was another option I thought of for that one as well. So good. Overall, I thought you did pretty good. Struggled a little bit with Flare, I think. You made up for it with Adorius with the Xerneas pull at the last second, and the Rhydon. That's what I had. So good job.
Awesome. All right, so now we'll go to my part. We'll try to go through this quicker. It's just taking longer than we thought here. But all right, so these 5 characters. What would be their partner Illuvial?
Yep.
Cartman from South Park.
Oh, jeez. Cartman from South Park. What Illuvial would he have?
Yep.
Probably Squiz.
Okay.
I just see him. He would not be a good Illuvial hunter. but I think he'd somehow have a squiz and just like drag him along by his tentacle. It's probably like the worst squiz in the game. That's kind of how I see it.
I can see that. Okay. So Princess Jasmine.
Oh man, Princess Jasmine.
So she already has a pet.
So she has in Aladdin, she has a tiger.
Yeah.
There's not really a tiger Illuvial, right?
There's 31 that look very similar.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so I'll say an Ember Lynx. Let's go
Ember
with
Lynx.
that.
Okay, I figured you had to pick a lynx. I was curious which one you were gonna pick.
Yeah.
Okay, the Ember Lynx. Okay. Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
What does Santa Claus have?
I mean, that's easy. That's an Adorius.
Okay.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Is it gonna lead the sleigh or is it gonna be?
Well, if he's got a red nose, then sure. But I guess we would have to see. If it's a shiny, right?
Yeah.
If it's a holographic Adorius, there you go.
Yeah. Okay, so now I have kind of an evil character, Ursula from The Little Mermaid.
Well, she lives under the sea, so it's got to be a water alluvial. So I'm thinking like the Alfie line, Sinalf. But I don't know that she. But then,
she has those two little eels, the electric eels, right?
Yeah. I feel like she would have like an Axodon.
Okay,
like,
I can see that.
I think she would just like
Looks
Axodon's a little mean, you know, in the dark corners of the ocean, just hang out with Ursula. I could see that.
I can see that, the eyes popping up from the shadows.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, last one. We have Michael Jordan.
MJ, the GOAT.
MJ, yeah.
The GOAT. He's gotta have Ramfire, right? You gotta give him the GOAT. Give the GOAT the GOAT.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how I think about it.
Yeah, so
I think only the best for MJ. So I'm gonna go with the most flashy alluvial on the board, the one whose attack just rains down fire. That's what I would give them.
No, that's good. I didn't think about this too much before we started the segment, but immediately I just thought of what's the sloth one? Just because of the long arms, reaching out for the dunk.
Yeah. Like Space Jam.
Yeah, like Space Jam.
Yeah. I could see that. I could see that. But that sloth is pretty slow.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I guess that wouldn't fit.
Yeah.
All right. Last segment here. Let's get into the leak of the week. You know what? I will just start with this one.
Go for it.
Because speaking of this sloth Pokemon, it's probably why it was in the back of my head. We have a couple images or little videos that Grant put into the leak section in the Discord. We have the sloth one. I can't think of the name right now. We also have I can't think of this guy's name either. I know it's like a bloom or
it's like a
nature type.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'll throw these up on the screen. But it's just more alluvials that we haven't seen in the private beta yet.
Yeah,
so it's new. So we're getting they're new, they're fresh. We're in just seeing these little videos shows us we're getting closer and closer to getting that full whatever it is, 150 plus the tier zeros, 185 I think we're gonna get.
Yeah, 185, you got it. Yeah, so the alluviary is gonna be expanding, and these guys will be involved. Got that little polar bear there at the bottom. He's cute.
Yeah, I can't wait to just get all of these in there. Not that the ones that we have are getting old, but just getting new things that are fresh.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an exciting time when we finally, this could be years down the road, but get that second set of alluvials.
I know, that's going to be wild.
It's going to be cool because, I mean, as much as we're all going to, fall in love with this first set, just seeing new things coming out is what's going to be great about this game. It's not going to get stale.
Yeah, and I still need to get down all these alluvials, so we'll pump the brakes a little bit, but I see what you're saying. Like, there's going to be a time where that next set's going to come out. We're going to have the new Alluvatars. It's going to be But then the cool thing when that happens is, like, the OG alluvials are going to become even more sought after.
Yep.
Because, like, there's only going to be so many, and that's one of the main concepts of the game. To have the new set come out, but still be able to flex the old set is going to be cool. It's like, I was here from day one.
That's probably going to be the better thing that us OGs are going to be thinking of.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you have here?
Yeah, so my leak of the week is the Shard Bluff Battle Board. So I saw this in the leaks channel from Grant. Super cool. I think my favorite battle board so far. We've seen like Abyssal Basin's got the foresty look. We've seen the different ones, but this one in particular stuck out to me. It's got a very like dark and mysterious vibe to it. It's got like, it seems very volatile. Like, I don't know. It just kind of takes it. Yeah. It like pumps things up a little bit.
One of my Illuvium Zero lands are Shard Bluff. So
it is? Okay.
I'm pretty excited about it. That was one of my favorite ones actually.
Yeah, that's cool. So they're currently doing the build out of that region, and this battle board's part of it. But like to see, and I love how they do it, where they show the block out part and then they show the finished product, and it looks different but similar. And I think they just did such a good job with it. When I saw it, I was like, I'm just super excited to like travel through Shard Bluff, but then also, you know, you find one of the orbs floating around, shoot it, and then you're all of a sudden you're in that moment in that battle board. So
it, just like these new Illuvials, like we're only getting our first taste of the first of 7 regions.
Yeah.
And I think they do plan out to at least release 1 or 2 more in the private beta, right? I don't think it's just going to be this one region until open beta.
Yeah.
So so we'll be getting some new fresh stuff pretty quick.
And you just think about the other regions, like Brightland Steppes, like all the different colors of, like, you know, the steppes in particular, like that region's going to be cool. The Halcyon Sea, like the more so water feel to it with the big shells and everything, that's going to be cool. And then Crystal Shards obviously is going to be completely different than everything else.
Crystal Shores.
So, Crystal Shards. That's like, I think there was like a Kirby game, like Kirby Crystal Shards back in the day. But yeah, Crystal Shores is going to be really cool. So like, we got a lot to look forward to. I know we got cool stuff out now, but man, it's only going to get cooler.
Yeah, we're going to have more to talk about next week. I do need to confirm this, but I think we might be having Scoriox on next week. That does fall in that holiday week, so we got to figure out what's going on with that. But then 2 episodes from now, we're going to be talking about Illuvium Zero.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And I'm actually pretty excited about that. Not that I wouldn't say I'm more excited about that, but I have 4 plots of land. I'm ready to get into Illuvium Zero.
Yeah.
So
super cool.
But yeah, so that wraps it up for today. We will have this out in the podcast. That'll be linked down below. It'll be in on ramfire.io, which will also be linked down below. So if you don't have time to actually watch this, you can check out that on the podcast form. But yeah,
we'll see you guys out in the overworld. Annie, thanks for coming on again. Congrats on the council member spot. But yeah, I think we're both going to be playing a lot of Illuvium over the next few weeks. We got Christmas breaks coming up, so yeah, we'll see you out there.
All right, have a good one, guys.